everybody. Just a sneaky little one, just to moisten my tubes. Now, what I want to talk to you today about is budget blades. Although you have seen a few very nice knives indeed on my channel recently, one of the big things for me is budget blades and the possibility of finding very good quality knives at very reasonable prices. And the idea that I want to talk about is taking a chance. For a long time it was very easy to get a budget blade reliable quality. You got an open L, or you got one of the smaller Victorinox knives. More recently, San Remo has livened things up a bit because their quality seems consistently high. Rough Rider makes some excellent knives at very good prices, although the consistency in quality isn't always bang on, but when they do make a nice one, they make a very nice one. So if you want something a bit different, sometimes it's worth taking a risk. Sometimes the gamble pays off and sometimes it doesn't. I want to show you two knives today. The first one, I was buying some things for the house on Amazon, and it said spend another couple of quid and you get free postage. So the postage was going to be about 5 or 6 quid anyway, so I thought I'd buy a little Whitby knife. I have been warned off Whitby knives in the past, but I thought given that I was going to be spending most of the price of it on postage, I may as well give it a go and see what happens. And this one didn't work out. Okay, so this is how the knife comes in a blister pack. This is quite a good blister pack because it isn't heat sealed, it's just pressed together, which makes it comparatively easy to open, which is a good thing, which is the only good thing. So we've got the insert Whitby knives for life's adventures, and first thing I notice is that Whitby & Co isn't even in Whitby, it's in Kendal on the other side of the country. So let's get the knife. Fairly standard design, wooden scales, tapered towards the pivot end. What do we notice? Well, first thing, we've got half stop, that's good. We've got so halfway between a Warncliffe and a sheep's foot, which is good. We've got no markings on the knife whatsoever, and as it will become clear if it's not already, it's hardly surprising that nobody wants to put their name on this knife. It's shocking. So we've got quite noticeable blade play, but as well as that, the scales are pinned, or appear to be pinned, with these two pins here, middle and back, and they probably are real because they're where they should be for the back spring, but there's no front pin, which means any side to side stress you can see the scales lifting because they're not glued very well. And well, why would you bother gluing them very well? They haven't bothered machining them very well. There's a massive step up there from the bolster to the wood. But they've gone to the trouble of putting a half stop on, so they could have made a bit more effort, blade centering it's off a little bit, but not enough to cause any problems with the edge. Well, I say the edge. Look at this. If this was any blunter, it'd be a fucking spoon. So, the wood that they've used on the scales looks pretty decent actually, some sort of mahogany type wood, but I can't see that there's any significant amount of oil or wax gone into the wood. It looks very, very dry, and it does have quite an open pore pattern. So if, as the card says, this is going to be used by people camping, hunting, fishing, gardening, those scales are going to get full of water very quickly. You can see there's another gap there where the gluing isn't proper, and the metal liners, the side plates, are so thin you can squeeze them between your finger and thumb and it all flexes. It's just shoddy. We've got the riveted pivot there, which isn't a problem, but that one is very rough indeed. And if you've got delicate hands, you could hurt yourself on that. Nice strong back spring though, in fairness. A good sized nail nick. But overall, with the woefully thin liners, the inadequate gluing of the scales, the blade play, the need to oil or wax the scales, it sort of all adds up to it's not a knife that's worth putting any effort into to make it usable. I've just noticed as well, you can see, you may not see it on camera, but that surface there, when the blade's open, you can see the light between there and the end of the back spring. So it's just cheap shit. Now the second knife I want to show you is a Schrade. And this was advertised as being £18, I think, no, £16, but it was on offer, 50% off. So I thought, well, for £8, looks interesting, we'll give it a go. And, well, you'll see in a second, but what I want you to bear in mind is you may think it's unfair comparing a knife that's supposed to be £7 or £8 with a knife that's supposed to be twice the price, but it's on offer. My point being that sometimes it's worth taking a chance on a special offer, even if it's not what you were looking for. Because if you're working to a tight budget, then you may have to wait a lot longer for exactly what you want to come along at exactly the price you want to pay. So have a look at this, see what you think. Okay, so this is how the knife comes in the, I think, rather nice grey and green Schrade livery. Taylor brands, made in China. On the back we've got the retailer's label. Special offer was £17.95 and I paid £8 for this. So I think it was £8, half price anyway, near enough. And here we have the knife itself in quite a bright metallic green. We've got steel liners, I believe aluminium scales, the ripple pattern, a long slash shaped lanyard hole, a long straight, appears to be chromed, or matte polished stainless steel clip. Seems quite reasonable. And it is quite a deep carry clip. Model number there, SCH220GR. 2 thumb studs. So let's have a look at some specs. The knife weighs 119.5 ounces, 119.5 grams. Which is 4.2 ounces. Opens nicely. We've got a drop point blade. The main bevel's half height appears to be a flat grind. We've got a bit of a swedge there on the front half of the blade. It's a liner lock. It's running on 2 plastic washers, and at the moment, straight out of the box, it's quite tight. We've got a Torx pivot there, so that will be adjustable. The lockup is solid, there's no play in any direction, and the handles are scooped out slightly deeper on this side to access the liner lock. The fit and finish seems quite good. There are a couple of minor scuffs on the blade. The green paint is applied fairly evenly actually. There's a couple of flaws in the surface there. But overall it seems quite reasonable for the money. Whether I would have paid £18 for this is another matter. But I think at £8, that's not too bad. The edge seems reasonable on the catalogue paper. Let's see how we get on with the phone book paper. Now we're struggling there. So the edge would need a bit of work to bring this up to our standards, but for your everyday punter in the street, that's quite reasonable. Let's check the rest of the specs. Blade length tip to bolster is 3 1/4 inches, about 83mm, with a 3 1/8 cutting edge. The handle is 4 1/2 inches, taking the longest line, and the knife's about 11, possibly 12mm thick, less than half an inch just about. So it's quite a good sized blade. Just for size comparison, bit of context, if we put next to it another green knife, the rather more lovely Spyderco Tenacious in the Sprint Run green, I should give you an idea of the sort of ballpark size. So there we have the Schrade SCH220GR. It's okay as a knife. It's fairly comfortable in the hand, and for the price it's just a nice bit of fun. Need to loosen that pivot though. So there you go. I think it's alright. Thanks for watching.